Hello, I'm Richard Gerver, and I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Now, to start with, I want to address the potential elephant in the room. Yes, I am a former educator and a former school principal. But before you switch off and swipe on to the next speaker, please just hear me out. If we look at the lived experience of the last couple of decades and we think about the challenges of the future and all of the change and uncertainty that has exhausted us so far, and the thought of what's to come makes us nervous moving on. The one thing we know for sure is we as people, as organizations, have to be more agile, more capable of not just surviving change, but owning it, controlling it, thriving in it. We need to be less reactive and more proactive. And at the heart of all of that actually lies our ability to learn. You know, one of the things I took away from my education career, which ended nearly 2 decades ago, was remembering something that I was first taught as a young student. And that was that we learn somewhere between 70 and 75% of everything we learn in our lifetime before we're 5 years of age. Now, I'm not talking about the knowledge that comes with experience. I'm talking about how most of us in that time learn to walk and talk. We learn to understand body language, vocal intonation, facial expression. We learn to make sense of the sensory world around us. If we're born into multilingual homes, we pick up and learn to speak any language in our domestic environment. We are extraordinary. We are adaptable. We're agents of change. We are learning machines. And a few years ago, I got to interview the 2017 Nobel Prize winner for physics, an extraordinary human being called Barry Barish. And I asked him how he went about recruiting the team of research scientists that went on to win with him a Nobel Prize for science. And he said, well, you know what, Richard, we had over 3,500 serious applicants. And by serious, he meant people who had at least 2 doctorates to their name. I mean, I don't know if any of you have even tried to get one, but 2? He said we had 138 places on our team. He said, so we needed to whittle those brilliant scientists down. He said, my biggest caveat was this. He said, it's really interesting to me that the more successful you become in most of the fields you work in, the more narrow your focus, and therefore the more stale the air you start to breathe. And you tend to be surrounded by, in the silos of what we do, other people who do what you do all day, every day. He said, which means your head is down so much of the time, you don't have the time or the momentum to look up and look around you. He said, and that meant I wanted to hire 3-dimensional people, but more than that, and this is one of the things I talk to because I'm so passionate about this as a core for our future culture. He said we needed people who had the courage to challenge the beauty of the proof. Oh, isn't that beautiful? And I would love to explore some of that at your event with your teams, your managers, your leaders. And just one final thought for you. A few years ago, I was working with the former president of the US, Barack Obama, at the Advanced Leadership Foundation. And I got a chance to ask him about his time in the White House. And I said to him, what is the most important thing you learnt during your 8 years of leading the United States? And he smiled that smile and I melted. And he said, I'll tell you. He said, when I arrived in the White House, I was like a kid in a candy store. I knew I could hire the greatest technical experts in almost every field: science, politics, economics, business. He said, but when I look back on those 8 years and I think about the problems that crossed my desk, he said, what I realise now is that at their heart, most of them are human. They're about love, anger, jealousy, greed, hatred, fear, tribalism. He said, the mistake we too often make is we look far too quickly for the technical solutions to the problems that are in essence a human. And what I hope that I bring to an event, to your event, is to explore all of the challenges we're juggling with: technological, economic, business, management, leadership, change, through a profoundly human lens. I hope to meet you all soon. Thanks very much and take care.